Angie Casey from Bravas. She just happens to be a subcontractor of ours that deals with low voltage, home technology, shades. In this room you can see a lot of pinball machines and that sort of thing. And tell us a little bit about home automation. What are you seeing out there?
As Todd said, we cover everything from shades, lighting control, security, audio, video, networking systems. A lot of what our clients are asking for these days is an automated home that is easy to use.
And what do you mean by automated home?
So where you can easily, with one press of a button, create a scene where you wanted a good morning button to press and your shades go up, the lights turn on, the music starts playing. There's different ways to automate at home, but typically when we're doing an automated home, you're incorporating shades, lighting control, music, televisions.
So when you're thinking about home automation, is there a number one thing that your clients and my clients are looking for in a home? Like, is there one thing that's most important to them?
A lot of it is music. Music, it's very rare nowadays for us not to incorporate audio in a house of some sort. So I'd say that's definitely the number one.
And when you say music, now are people, I hear this term about Sonos and I hear, Spotify, and I hear, what are they doing?
Yeah, so it is all streaming. So, depending on what system we offer, you can tie in your music from your phone that you have saved. You can tie in Spotify, Pandora, local radio. So all of the music that we're seeing throughout the house is all being streamed from some sort of app.
And when you say app, is that just something that's on my phone? I have an iPhone here, and you just punch an app and...
Absolutely. So there's different apps that we use. Sonos is a big one. If you were just looking for music, you would go to the Sonos app that connects over the Wi-Fi, so the Wi-Fi has to be very strong throughout the house to be able to stream the music. Otherwise, we do have clients that actually have, CD disc changers so that we can tie in and play that throughout the house. We can also tie in a turntable. If, somebody had a lot of old vinyl and they wanted to play that, we can easily send that audio throughout the house as well as outside if there's speakers.
So in this particular house, the client actually has an old, what I would say, legacy CD player, because you don't see CD players out very often.
Correct.
And it's actually loaded with DVDs because they're into movies, and you're able to actually take that old, I'll say, legacy equipment and integrate it into today's technology?
Correct. So when this homeowner came to us and said, movies are very important to them, and he has these old disc changers, we actually had him bring those over to our office, and we actually tested them to make sure they would work with the control system, and we were able to get them to work flawlessly.
So with Bravas, that sounds like a kind of a step beyond normal service, that you actually took somebody's equipment back to your operations and actually integrated it to make certain that when you came out to the job site that we could actually do that here? Absolutely.
So we are big fans. If there's any product that a client wants to bring with them from their old house and try to incorporate into the new house, we don't just say yes, right? We really want to test it and make sure it's going to work. So yes, we absolutely, we will go pick up the product, bring it back, bench test everything. That is a service that we will provide.
Is this the heart of the system? This is like two pretty sizable tower racks in here. What do all these mean? Like this rack right here and these blue lights going on. What is that? What's it all mean to us?
So these 7 video balance actually go to all of the televisions throughout the house.
Video balance? Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yes.
What does that, do you know what that actually means?
I do. So what this allows is video distribution in a system.
Okay.
Rather than having a cable box and an Apple TV, 7 of those, 1 per television, these will allow us to locate, 2 Apple TVs, a Blu-ray player, and maybe a couple of cable boxes, and those are shared on the system throughout the house. So think of in a lower level entertaining area where you may have a media room, TV, and a bar TV.
Yep.
if you have a Vikings game on and you want to watch that, if you had a separate DirecTV box at each of those, they're not going to be in sync.
Yeah.
When you're sharing one box to all these televisions, you're sharing one box and they will be in sync. So our goal is not to locate equipment, behind televisions or out in the room. To have everything in the equipment racks, we're able to remotely log in and reboot these devices. We have full control out of every single piece of equipment in this rack, which is very important on a service side of things. This bottom unit here is a power conditioner.
Is that this one right here?
Yes. So this one actually is going to, protect all the equipment on the system, but it also gives us and the homeowners an app on their phones where they can easily reboot the modem, the router, any Apple TVs, cable boxes, those devices that from time to time need to be rebooted. We have full access, our service team as well as the homeowner has.
So I'm gonna just look here. We got a watt box here. This is Sony, Fusion Research, PF Power,
Elan.
Sony. We have Elan down here.
Sure.
So those are the brands that you guys try to stick with in most of your installations of equipment?
Right. We have a very, select list of vendors and products that we work with because we know they work. And, we need to install these systems and make sure that they're reliable and they're not going to cause issues.
We're kind of going through the house and, I noticed that there's some light switches that, press the button. We kind of talked about scenes and that sort of thing. But now we're coming to what looks like a small iPad or video screen. What does this do? It's an Elan system, but what does it do?
Sure. So this is a hardwired fixed touch panel. This wire that's behind this wall goes back to that big equipment rack.
Okay, so those two big towers we saw.
Yes.
Okay.
And they're talking to each other. So it's a place where the homeowner knows it's always charged. It's not an iPad that you pull off the wall and you forget to, put it back on the wall so it dies. It's the interface. This is the full Elan interface that is going to look the same whether it's on their phone, an iPad, this touch panel, and it's kind of the main station for them to control their home, whether that would be security, thermostat control. They can do all their lighting control here. Media, so they were able to turn on their Apple TVs, turn on all their TVs here from this touch panel.
Okay.
They can easily, pull up all their cameras on the system. So
how many cameras do we have? We have 6 cameras?
6 cameras.
Okay. And so, you're basically, you have all these labeled. You have your front, or your door station, your front.
Correct.
Our front yard, backyard, driveway, service door, and lake door. So you have all your entrances covered.
Correct.
Okay. What else can you do on this little...
So there's shades. So you can see here we have quite a few rooms with our automated Lutron shades. So they are able to go in and pick which room and control the shades.
So like the family room here, would you press the family? Okay, you press the family room.
And then we have a left and a right shade.
Okay.
So you can individually control these, move them up or down, close them together.
Are you able to operate all these at once? Say somebody just wants to just shut down their house, they're leaving for vacation. Can you go ahead and close them all down, or you have to hit them all individually?
No, we can actually create a scene on here. I don't believe they have one set up, but where you could hit one button, everything shuts down. But we also have the lighting keypads, same brand, Lutron, that we can integrate the shades into. So they have a button in this home, you press shades and the whole lakeside, all of the shades drop at the same time.
For maybe at sunset, where maybe the sun is low at certain points of time in Minnesota?
Right, absolutely.
Okay, so one of the other neat things that you can do with a system like this is actually program the lights, I believe. And like, even if you wanted your exterior lights on, you could program them to be on from sunset to sunrise.
Correct.
Like Christmas lights, you're able to schedule those too. How does that work? Can you do that on a system like this?
Absolutely. So with the lighting control, you can easily go in, choose which lights you want to control, easily add them to a schedule. So if we wanted to have, the front exterior lights, turn on and off at certain times of day, you would go here to this lighting icon, and then you could go into the schedule here. and create, a new schedule and choose which light. So
You actually would create a scene.
correct.
Which would actually then you'd create a schedule for lights to come on and off.
Correct. So
Which I would think that would work really well in like when you're on vacation for a week or two.
Yes.
So it actually makes it seem like somebody's home.
I do that at my house. We've had some break-ins in the neighborhood, so our lights just randomly turn on and off for 2 to 3 minutes at a time throughout the night, and it's very easy. You can change that schedule at any time, but you can absolutely create vacation schedules to make it look like somebody's home. Otherwise, you just want your lights to dusk to dawn sort of schedule. So another feature is garage doors. So have you ever, driven away from your house and said, "Oh my gosh, should I shut the garage door?" Right?
Yep, all the time.
Yes. So with, there are different apps, more the DIY type apps that come with these garage doors, but why not tie it into our app? So, our whole goal is to give all of these services to put on a single app so the client doesn't have, 10 different apps to control their house.
Tell me a little bit about the shades. Like, are there different choices? How do people choose, like, what kind of shade they'd want?
So these are called roller shades. There are many different options as far as the fabric choices go, different colors. We have blackout material where there's a backing on the back where you can't see through it all.
For like a bedroom.
Right, media room, theater, bedrooms. But these are what we call a 3% openness factor. And what this does is it gives really good privacy. But in this beautiful home with this beautiful lake view, the homeowners wanted to be able to drop the shades during the day, right, to help with the sun coming in. But they want to be able to have that view out to the lake still.
And it looks like it's actually hidden behind a valance of some sort. In this case, it looks like a wood one, and I believe that our trim carpenters actually installed this. Sometimes we see them in the ceiling, sometimes we actually see them out in a valance.
So this case, knowing this is a large slider door, you can't really put anything inside of the door. So you got, the trim carpenter.
So you want to get it past the handle set.
Correct. We got to make sure when they come down, they're not going to hit the handles. So we took that into account. And then the wood valance was built by Adore Homes trim carpenter, where you don't see the shades. Once they're tucked up in there, all you see is a little 2-inch opening for the fabric to come through, and you still have your full view, with your big glass door.
So Angie, you can see our breath in the air.
Yes.
It's a balmy minus 14 degrees in Minnesota, but yet we're outside, porch area with our phantom screens, and yet we have a TV outside.
Yes.
Tell me about that. How can Minnesota, whether it's 100 degrees and 80% humidity or minus 14 with no humidity, how does a TV work out here?
Right, so these TVs are all fully weatherproof. This one is built by Sunbright. The nice thing about the televisions for outside is you hang them and you don't have to worry about bringing them in. You leave them out year round. They could get hailed on, rained on. The operating range.
This thing can get rained on.
Yes.
Okay.
The operating range on these, believe it or not, I believe is minus 30 to 130 or 40 degrees.
Holy
So
Hannah.
we could turn this on today and it would work completely fine.
So are these more expensive than just say the normal TV you get?
Yes, so this is a 55-inch outdoor TV and it's probably about $500 more.
That's it?
Than a decent indoor TV, yes.
That's it?
Correct, yes.
That's incredible. I mean, honestly, I think that's incredible that you can have an outdoor TV working from minus 30 to 130 degrees, and it's literally about $500 more.
Correct. When you have it out in the open elements, when it's going to be in the direct sunlight, those are definitely, you pay a premium for those.
Okay.
So those you're probably looking at, $1,500 to $2,000 more for that type of
And still,
television.
that's not even bad. But this, as long as we have a covered area, this works out great.
Yes, they're very bright. They're brighter than an indoor TV. This is one for a shaded application. And yeah, it works great. They look great and you never have to touch it.
Oh, wonderful. Angie, honestly, thank you for your time today. We really learned a lot. I appreciate you taking the time and talking about automation and audio video. It's minus 14 out. I want to get back inside, But we really appreciate you taking the time with us.
Thank you very, very much for having me. I appreciate it.